an even better way is to partner with other people,
Right.
because then you're gaining access to their network and their ability to raise capital.
Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, as always, we got Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing, Todd?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just had a great weekend, nice and relaxing. Was able to spend some time with some good friends of mine from college, and you know, I guess I realized when I got home that it was Valentine's Day, so I had to make sure I spent some time with my kids and my wife as well. So it was good. How about you?
Oh, well, I just my audiobook just got finished being created, and so I uploaded that to Audible and iTunes, and it's being processed by them. It might take a few weeks for it to be all certified and stuff for it to be available for distribution then.
Awesome. So in a couple of weeks, it should be ready. We can consume it via Audible.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's man. So and the book has been out now for what, about a month probably.
Yeah, a little
right?
over a month. Yeah.
A little over a month. So by the way, those of you who have not gotten your copies, get a copy of Matt's book about real estate. And if you're like, hey, I don't have time to read, well, now Audible will be an option for you, so you can get the audio version and consume it there as well, or do both. Actually, quite a bit, Matt. I actually like to do both. I'll buy a book and then I'll consume it also on Audible. So I'll not only listen to it, but I'll read it as well. It helps me pick up a lot of stuff, especially really good books that I really like and appreciate. I end up doing both versions. I find I have to read it first and then listen to the Audible. Otherwise, if I listen to the Audible first, I won't end up reading it. So that's just me though.
Yeah, and you can pick up more, I guess, by doing it both ways as well.
You do. I pick up always more the second time. So yeah, for sure. So Matt, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to continue our series about multifamily investing, and today we're going to be talking about how to get started with buying large multifamily apartment buildings, and I'm talking 100-unit pluses.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, and quite frankly, again, this is like everything we give to you is probably going to go really well with even buying smaller buildings. So we're specifically always talking about larger buildings, but this can be brought, the same strategy can be brought on buying a 5-unit building, 8-unit building, 10-unit building, as the 100+ unit building that we're talking about buying. So if you're like, whoa, I don't want to buy that big of a building, this still works. So, all right. So what do? We want to buy some apartment buildings, but we haven't bought them before. So how do we start? Where do we start? And that's where a lot of people get kind of stuck, is they're like, well, my goal, like we talked about last week, I got my goal, right? But I don't even know where to start. So what's a one way, Matt, that somebody can get started in this real estate journey without having a ton of experience?
Well, the best way to start is by educating yourself and then networking with other people and learning from people who have already done it before.
Yeah, absolutely. So educating yourself. So that's, obviously people are listening to this podcast, listening to other podcasts, or they're reading books like yours, and they're getting educated. And then of course, if you, depending on the route, and I don't suggest this for everyone because it's not necessarily right for everybody, but you can pay a mentor to help you get there. You can buy a coaching course to help you get there. But I think no matter what, you need to have that network, like you talked about, those relationships. And so you need to find some mentors, whether you pay them or whether you find mentors that are willing to kind of take you under their wing. Either way, I think that's really important to be able to build that network as quickly as possible. For sure, that's probably one of the most valuable things: education and network. And I think network beats out even education.
I agree. And with education, I would say hands-on is a great way to do it. So if you get a job working within the real estate world, such as in property management or working with mortgages, something along those lines, that gives you an inside, hands-on education of how things are run.
Yeah. So let's hit on that. Right. So hands-on, super important. You've got to take action. If you don't take action, you're not going to get results. Just plain and simple. So what better way to actually start taking action than to be involved in the industry? Now, here's the one kicker I will say about this. If you're involved in the industry and you start, let's say you're a mortgage broker, you say you're a real estate agent or broker, or anything in the industry, appraiser, inspector, any of that, property management company, or even work for a property management company, just make sure that you're actually going to follow and pursue your dream, right? So if your goal is to be buying large properties, don't get comfortable, right? We talk about getting comfortable and how that's the killer, right? You get comfortable, you just get complacent. So you've got to make sure that it's not the end game, right? That's just the path to get there. And there's a lot of value in it. There's several things that are of massive value in being involved in a professional level like that. First of all, you're getting a paycheck, right? So that's kind of nice because we have to get paid to eat, right? So you're getting a paycheck, you're building up some capital, and you're involved in the industry, right? So you're learning, free education. And then the other thing I think is really big is you're networking. You're networking within that industry. So you're meeting the people you need to meet, right? So if let's just say you're a mortgage lender in the industry, and you're meeting a ton of operators, you're meeting potential future investors. You're learning, you're meeting brokers, appraisers, like everybody in this industry that you absolutely need to meet. And so for sure, a great way to get in the door is to become an industry or to become an employee or even owning a company within the industry.
Yep. Great point.
Yeah. So what else? So we can become an employee, right? Eventually, again, we have to break out of that and start our own company. So what else can we do?
You can build it all up with your own money. That's kind of where my mindset was when I first started investing in real estate. I was buying triplexes, and I thought like, oh, I can build some equity in these and then trade them up for a 10plex or a 20plex and just keep on going up from there. But I was limited to my own ability to have, make money and to be able to buy new places.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really two strategies in one that you just mentioned there. So one strategy is buying with your own money and capital, which, by the way, all these strategies can be combined. You don't have to go with one or the other. We can do both or multiple, many of these strategies all at once. So Matt, you just mentioned you bought with your own money and kept on, and you think, okay, I'm going to take this triplex and I'm going to sell it. And then I'm going to turn it into a, 8 unit. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn that into a 15 unit. And then eventually I'll get to 100 unit. And that was actually where my mindset was as well. I was buying 1 to 4 family properties, and eventually I was going to graduate and buy larger properties, and then graduate from there and buy even larger properties. So that was my mindset as well. And that is actually a strategy that can work. It's definitely a slower strategy, but it's a strategy that can work. So you buy with your own capital. You have to have a value add of some sort so you can really create some velocity there, and then you take and you sell that and go on to the next one and continue to build and build and build. So you're taking your own money and you're basically flipping these properties to grow into bigger buildings. So start small, grow big. Definitely a strategy. Again, I would be combining that with other strategies as well that we'll talk about. But I think that's for sure a viable way to go. Hey, real quick, I just want to let you know about the multifamily challenge that we got going on. It's a 5-day multifamily challenge on how to get an offer in quickly, right? So we're going to teach you in 5 days, 5 1-hour sessions. We're going to go through the steps and the process to get there. So go to mfichallenge.com, mfichallenge.com. You can sign up. It's free if you want the VIP. There's a bunch of things that we'll give away too. You do have to pay for that, but hey, it's going to be well worth it. Again, you can get in for free. We're going to teach you how to get that offer across the table, get the LOI in, all the steps. So Ellis Hammond and Ellis was episode 316. Check out his episode. And we're going to be doing this next week. So sign up now at mfichallenge.com, and get in there. We're doing it next week, and it's going to be awesome. So hope to see you there.
I would say an even better way is to partner with other people, because then you're gaining access to their network and their ability to raise capital.
Yeah. And there's lots of different types of partnerships we can talk about, right? There's, partnerships where you and I, and maybe we bring in 2 or 3 other people, so we get together and we find a building together and we split it 50-50, or maybe it's 4 of us and we're 25% a piece, and we all have our specific roles and responsibilities, and we're all raising capital. We're all, doing our part to make sure it's successful, and none of us are probably playing a different, higher role than the others. We're partners in this deal. And we're leveraging and using our own unique experiences and abilities to make sure the property is being run specifically or well, and make sure that we can actually buy properties, right? So we're using our own bank accounts, all that kind of stuff. So that's one type of partnership. Another type of partnership is bringing value to an already established group. And it doesn't necessarily need to be like the most established group, but maybe it's a group that's done 1, 2, 3, 10 deals, right? So you're going to bring value to them, right? You're going to help bring money into the deal by bringing your network into the deal. Maybe you're going to, along with that, bring whatever other value you can offer. Maybe you're really analytical, and so you can bring that aspect to it. Maybe you're good at research and data points. Maybe you're really good at asset management. Maybe you're good at construction management. Maybe have a construction background or a contractor. So that's another way you can come into these deals. It's just by bringing value to them and getting a part of the partnership, right?
Here's a great way to, go ahead.
You go, because I tend to talk way too much. You go.
So a great way to add value, if you're new to buying large multifamily places, is to do what's called bird dogging. And it's something actually I did before I had money and resources to buy my own properties. I have found potential investment properties for other investors. And then when they invested in those, then I got a cash payout for that.
So, and I think what's better than a cash payout, this is me personally. So cash payouts are great, but it's one time. So instead of a cash payout, say, look, typically I'd want about 100 grand for this, but instead what I would like is to be a general partner in the deal. So let's come up with a fair agreement. You don't have to pay me anything up front. That's more valuable to you, right? Because you buy the property for cheaper, and you defer basically paying me by me being a partner on this deal. So it gives you some experience. It gives you some equity. And obviously, if you set it up right, you'll get more than that $100,000, right? The other way to do it is if they say, well, look, we don't need that, say, okay, well, I still want that $100,000 fee, but I want it in the form as an investment, as a limited partner, right? So you could do that as well, which leads me to another strategy, would be to become a limited partner in a deal. And that may sound like, wow, that doesn't do anything for me, but it can. It really can. So you have to find the right sponsors for this, in my opinion, to have an education with this and to gain experience. But it can be a good strategy is to become a limited partner. So you're investing in somebody else's deal passively, but you want to invest with the right sponsors that will allow you to be engaged. So they'll allow you to come visit the property. They'll allow you to tour with the property management company and ask some questions, more or less be kind of in the background. They'll allow you to jump on some asset management calls and just be in the background, just be quiet and listen. So they'll allow you to be engaged. I think that's really important. And then you'll get to see their monthly newsletters or emails that they send out. You get to see the key financial statements. So I think that's really valuable. And of course, you're making some money, hopefully, as well in the meantime.
Yep, and it's a really easy way if you've got a little bit of cash to instantly be a part owner in hundreds of units, and without really any work or much work on your own, just making sure it's a good deal and you like the sponsor and whatnot.
Yep. And that's really important, right? You want to, this is, I'll qualify this for any partner that you bring on. You want to make sure the partners that you bring on are people that you really feel strongly about, that you feel like they're going to be able to perform to the expectations. They're moral, ethical, and honest. You are who you hang around. And if you partner with somebody that ends up doing something wrong, that ruins your reputation as well. So be really careful who you partner with. Make sure you're partnering with the right people. That's really, really valuable.
Yep. And then the flip side to limited partnership is the general partnership that we've kind of been alluding to, which is the core group of people that put a deal together.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So any way you can get into that's really valuable. Like we've already said, there's many different ways to get involved in that. I think one of the key things that to understand, if you're going to get involved in 100 plus unit buildings, you're likely going to have to be involved in some sort of partnerships. It might be as simple as you have to raise money for a deal, but you want to make sure that you understand that you're going to have some sort of partnership to get involved in these deals. So again, it could be a syndication. You find a 100 unit deal, you're gonna manage the deal, and you're gonna bring on your limited partners. So you get paid to basically bring the money and bring the deal, right? So there's a lot of different ways. We'll talk more in depth about syndication and what that really means, and how to become a syndicator, how to syndicate, how to passively invest in syndications. But that's another kind of strategy. But you notice most of them, almost every one of them that we talked about, have to do with partnerships or networking.
Yeah, and I would say that buying large multifamily places is much more accessible than it ever is or has been in our history. I
Yeah.
think you used to have to sort of be in this club, small group
Yeah.
of people to be able to get access to participate in those sorts of deals. But now it's really accessible to anybody. You just have to educate yourself, network, and take action.
Yep. That's the most important part, right? Take action. You've got to eventually get there and start doing things. And you're not going to buy a 100 unit building by hope alone, right? You've got to start taking action. You got to start getting to know people and get in the industry. That's going to be key.
Exactly.
Any other last thoughts on ways, how do we get involved in this multifamily game?
That's it from me for today.
So I think last thing I'll say again on the partnership thing, just make sure your goals truly align. Make sure you're going to get along, get to know each other, and get along with each other. I think people get involved with some partnerships without really knowing much about them, about the people involved, and you're taking a big risk, in my opinion. Again, your um yeah, edit.
No problem.
So I mean, your reputation is on the line, and so if you get involved with the wrong people, your reputation can be ruined pretty quickly, and that's damaging, and that can take a long time to get back into a positive reputation. So you just want to make sure you're doing your due diligence. And I talked to Jeremy Roll, who will be on the show in just a few weeks, and he mentioned doing background checks. Do background checks on people. Make sure you're really paying attention to who you're getting involved with. So
awesome. Yeah, you could also lose a lot of money though if you get in with the wrong people.
yeah, absolutely. So, all right, man. Well, that's all I got as well. You have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day Saturday.
You too.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.